Welcome back, everyone. Today we're going over the fakie full cab flip, or the cab flip, or the fakie 360 kick flip, whatever floats your boat. It's important to have your fakie flips down, your half cab flips, your backside flips, your full cabs. Any of those are definitely going to help you learn this trick. The more the merrier. There's a lot going on here visually, but it's easy to unpack once you kind of see this trick for what it really is, which I'll get to in a second. I feel like growing up, I learned this one nollie easier. I don't know why. I feel like I had more of a Mike Moe, PJ Ladd influence growing up, and that was the stance you would see them doing it in more often. So this is how I set up for the cab flip. It's kind of similar to how I would set up for a half cab flip, except I tend to hang my foot off on the popping foot a little more to where the toes are hanging off. It looks a little similar to a tray flip, not quite. For a tray flip, the toes would be hanging off even more. But I give it that little edge because I feel like it helps me with the rotation. So it's kind of like in my opinion, I like to think a half cab flip on steroids, basically. That's why I think it's so important to have your half cab flips down, because it's very similar. You're just going to be giving it a little bit more of a winding motion. And even though these tricks are very they look very complex, and it looks like there's a lot going on and a lot to them, the more of these basic tricks that you've learned leading up to this trick, leading up to the cab flip, you know, if you have your half cab flips, if you have your backside flips down, if you have your full cabs down, it's going to be a lot easier. You're going to really just be combining different aspects from all of these tricks into one. So despite the fact that it's a cool, complex looking trick, the tutorial itself, I don't think is that complex, right? I'm not teaching this. This video is really not for the audience of skateboarders who just started skating yesterday, right? This is going to take quite some time to get here. And if you are here, or if you are at the point of trying to learn this trick, you probably have a lot of these basic tricks that I've mentioned that you should learn before getting to this one. So this is how I set up basically for the full cab flip. And you're going to wind up like you would for, in my opinion, for a half cab. And you're going to focus kind of on the half cab portion of the trick, with just a little bit more oomph, a little bit more exaggeration on the rotation. And that's kind of what keeps the half cab flip going, that little extra mile that you need, and basically landing in a pivot or a revert. It's really common to land this one in a pivot or a revert. In my opinion, I think it looks best doing it that way on flat ground. Obviously, you're not going to do that when you're going down a stair set or on a hip or something, but on flat ground, that's usually how it looks. And you'll notice that the kick flip is kind of mellow. It seems as if the rotation gets going way before the kick flip gets started. Especially, you can tell in these slow-mo clips that it seems like the 360 gets a little bit of a head start, you know, before the kick flip really gets going. And the reason for that is because it's really easy to overdo the kick flip on this trick. On a lot of the, most of the mistakes that I've made with this trick involve like over flipping the kick flip or over spinning the 360. Even though there's a lot to do in this trick, there's really not a whole ton of force that you need to throw in behind it. So it's really just about getting the timing right with the 360 and the kick flip, and just getting that going. So just keep the kick flip light, focus on getting a nice solid spin and getting it all the way around. And it's a bit of a doozy. It can get you dizzy trying this one too much. Again, the more tricks that you learn leading up to this one, the merrier. If you have the fakie flip, half cab flip, backside flip, and full cab going into this trick, it's probably pretty likely that this one's you're gonna learn this one a lot easier than someone who doesn't have those down. So again, approach it like you would for a half cab flip. Just give it a little bit more spin, go easy on the kick flip, and expect to land in somewhat of a pivot or a revert like you would for let's say a regular full cab on flat ground. It can be kind of tricky to figure out the timing of the kickflip and the 360 and just make it all roll together. I don't like to approach this trick like a fakie tray. Some people like to do it exactly like a fakie tray and just spin around with it. I think it's hard to just really get that nice and synchronized. I just like to basically overdo the half cab flip. That's the way I like to think of it. So that's my take on the full cab flip. Comment down below what other strange, difficult flip tricks you want me to cover in the future, and I will see you next time.